guys, welcome to the Improvement Season podcast. So over on my end, I am as always Steve Hall, and over there is Pascal Floor. In your room is just so much darker than mine.
Yeah, I just wanted to create a little bit of atmosphere. So I think 2 episodes ago, I set up the camera just because I was in the midst of recording, I think, my presentation or so. And then I kept it here for the Improvement Season podcast, and I really enjoyed the look of it.
It does look good.
Yeah, it does. And that's why I decided to actually do the little bit of extra work to set it up like this. Pitch black room now. No, it's not really pitch black, but yeah, you get the idea.
The awful thing is in these flats that this flat we rent, they just come with these like shitty blinds over all the, so even in the bedroom it's these, and it's like so bright at night, even like the lamps
and that is
outside. I'm
looking so Katie and I, we on a daily basis, we are just like, shit, I'm looking forward to actually moving to the house. And the entire house has like electric blindfolds, where you then can make the room pitch black, even in the bright daylight, which is so amazing because I've been sleeping with a sleeping mask since like, I don't even know, since like a couple of years now, and by that time right now, I can't sleep without one anymore. But yeah, just having that will be so amazing. Also for recording things like these, right? Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And on a daily basis, we are just like, oh, I would love to be in the house. I would love to be in the house.
Especially now for a garage gym or something, or just a room. Mate,
I was saying like to a couple of my clients, I know it sounds like a true first world problem.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
And I said, like, I would have wished to have moved like 1 or 2 months ago, so that we're now able to sit in the garden and enjoy everything there. Also for the kids, by the way. But it would have been also from a work environment, because I said it to you here recently that I have a very hard time at the moment focusing and being productive at work, because Hugo is the entire time around and needs to be entertained. And then having both kids at home at the same time with their age, it's quite a lot of work, and they need the attention. And I'm not blaming them for that, but it makes it so much harder to be productive and do the things that you're supposed to be doing in regards to work. And with a house, it would be so completely different, because they could be in the garden and I could be in my office, actually, because I will have an office there. So yeah,
I feel for you similarly, and my sister and her husband, they've got their kids at home and they're both working from home, and it's just like, I don't know how you're getting anything done with. As I obviously know, I've met Hugo briefly, but like I know what their kids are like, and they're like nutters. So
I mean, and with 2 smaller children at home, because they can't, they are not at that age where they can do things on their own. And you have to constantly entertain them.
Yeah, I can see that so much. My first world problems come even deeper this week, because I'd even been like, I was like, if I had my own house and a garage, I'd fully kit it out right now. I'd go all in. And I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't have this shitty squat rack that I've got here, compared to like, I'd have a power rack. Then I could do all this. I'm like, shut up, Steve. Like, just be grateful that you've got space.
Are you getting some rubber mats?
I don't know, because it just depends how long this all lasts. If this just lasts like another month, I'm fine with just doing it on the carpet. It doesn't really, I think long term it wouldn't be great though. I would then get some rubber mats, like you said. Even my sister messaged me, like, she was saying, how big's your squat rack? I'm looking for birthday presents, so I was thinking maybe I'll get you some flooring. And I was like, I don't know, especially because we eventually want to move, and that flooring might not be helpful then. So yeah, I'm kind of putting off doing anything like any further than what I've got right now. Although I have been looking at, you've probably looked at it. I bet you've looked at it, because I think even one of your clients may have messaged you. You can buy these like cheap pulley systems. Yeah. So you can do like pull downs and tricep movements. And I've looked at them so many times.
Really? Because I couldn't be bothered. I mean, it was a fantastic equipment to have. But at the same time, I was just like, I'm not planning on building truly a home gym. Getting that fancy of equipment, I was just like thinking, no, I have a pull-up bar at home, so I can do my vertical pulls there, and that's basically all I wanted. maybe getting some adjustable dumbbells in the future, but I didn't want to go down that fancy road and getting like lots of equipment, because that just leads me down the rabbit hole of purchasing more and more and more. And then eventually I actually own a home gym, which is not feasible at the moment, at least.
That's the thing. I was looking at it and I was like, I don't think I can properly set it up. So I'd only get it if it was really cheap. And then if any of the cheap ones, they're not coming for like a month if you order them now. So I was just like, I'd looked at like Spud Inc. have one, on the Rogue Fitness website, the Strength Shop have their own one. And I was just like, but eventually if I want to invest proper money into one, like you can almost buy a proper lat pull down for like 50 quid more. I was like, I'm going to get a proper like machine, not this thingy majiggy.
Or like a complete squat rack where there's also like a tower on that.
Yeah.
Which you can get for, I don't know. I've looked at it since a couple of years back, but haven't looked at it again over the past 5-6 years or so, because, I simply don't have the space for it. But you can get a complete station, basically.
And then the only other thing I wanted to touch on, and I'm just interested to see if any of the listeners have I don't know if you've ever had this problem, but I get so hot at night. And when I wear the eye mask, it's so much worse. So I actually sleep worse with the eye mask unless it's cold. And I can't wear my eye mask when it's hot. I just am like, oh my gosh.
Aren't there some eye masks where you can put some pads in, like cooling pads?
That's what I was wondering if there was.
I think so, yeah.
I might have to invest.
Yeah. Because now that you're saying that, it's not even a bad idea. Like in summertime, when things are super hot and you're just like having the fan on you the entire time, like people such as you and I, we're always sweating our asses off. And we are not even the heaviest ones, right? I don't want to imagine how it is for someone who's on steroids and then like weighing, I don't know, 230, 300 pounds or so, right? That must be awful. And with a sleeping mask and a cooling pad, I think that's actually a very good idea to help you fall asleep.
My fan recently, I don't know why, just broke. It moves, it makes noise, but no air comes out of it. So I'm looking to invest in maybe a better fan, and you can spend quite a lot of money on fans.
What is it with you and just like electrical or just gadgets in general? Also your scales at home, how often they've broken in the meanwhile.
Those scales, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I own my scale since like, I don't even know. That's how long I own that one for. Also, the fan I have at home, it's like a cheap fan, which just does its job on a yearly basis. And it was cheap. It was very, very cheap. So
the only thing I wondered was I use it every night. Since I've had it on every single night through the entire night. And I don't know if it only has like a certain number of hours of blowing. So I don't know. It was a cheap one as well. It was when we had like the heat wave like a year or two ago in the UK. And
maybe you need to get an expensive one because of the amount that you were using it for. Don't know.
Yeah. Oh well. Anything else interesting going on your end?
No, super boring.
Where are you right now? You're week
I'm at home.
3 or 4 into week 3. I'm at home. Fuck you. You're week 3. You better be at home. We all have to stay at home right now. But yeah, where are you in your mesocycle right now? You're
week 5 already. It's crazy to think that I'm already 5 weeks into this Corona mesocycle. I said it here on YouTube. Need to censor it or edit it out. But it's crazy to think, and this is something that I also brought up to many of my athletes. When all this is over, you will look back and be like, this was actually over much quicker than I anticipated, and actually it wasn't that bad. Because now the 5 weeks have gone by, and unfortunately my gym won't be opening up by the 19th, so by next week, which was first announced, right? It will probably, I don't even know, they have not announced anything in regards to gyms yet, probably until the next month, midst of next month or so maybe even 2 month close, which will be awful, but it is what it is. And I've never imagined that it will just go by that quickly, because I was just thinking the first week, like, holy shit, now I need to train from at home. I can make it happen, but I won't enjoy it. It's kind of a love-hate relationship. Like, yeah, I need to do it, but I won't enjoy that we are spending time with another, right? And then after a while, it was just like, that wasn't so bad after all.
Yeah, it surprised me. I that's why I ended up buying all this gym equipment, because I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, no, training from home with what I've got, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And then I bought it all, and none of it came for ages. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to have to do this anyway. And I got into it, and I was like, wow. Like, I had some ridiculous, like, pumps and just really great training. So, yeah.
I think
like
it's a blessing is still. I stick to what I've been saying the entire time. I think that it is an opportunity after all. And it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because it makes you reevaluate your training, what you've been doing before. And also it makes you experiment with things that you haven't done in a very long time, or maybe have never done. And now you come to the realization that some things may even work better than before. And yeah, maybe also you've been holding yourself back or gotten too comfortable while training in a gym environment, which may be the case for me. I don't know. Yeah.
It's interesting. I saw someone talking on their story recently about how it's making me realize, like, think that people who relied on, I don't know, maybe they relied on heavy weight and they didn't have the best technique, and they still saw okay things because they had the heavy weight. But now the heavy weight's gone and they have not good technique. And it's like, what are they going to do? This is from a technique standpoint, like, it really makes you focus on all of those good aspects. But like I was just going to say, you said the time's gone quick. It's gone ridiculously quick.
Yeah.
Almost also scary.
Funny. Yeah, because it's something like you said and brought up here over the past 1 or 2 weeks, and told me that, and that just kind of shown me once again how much of creatures of habits we are. Because you said basically, it feels like it has become the new norm.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, everyone was a little bit all over the place, a little bit anxious about the upcoming time. And right now, slowly, people are calming down and realizing, like, yeah, still the world keeps spinning, and this isn't so bad after all. But in the first initial days, especially, people were just like freaking out, right? And now it's becoming just the new normal. And due to it being the new kind of normal, it's just what you're doing. And this is how human society always has done things, right? At first, change is uncomfortable, and especially like times of uncertainty or being pulled out of your normal and typical routine. But you will adapt so quickly, and then this becomes your new normal. And then going back into the, for example, gym environment or so will feel odd to you, right?
I'm a little bit anxious for that, actually. It's gonna be weird, because I have just got I'm in a new routine. I know what I'm doing each day, and that when you get into that routine, you get in that flow state. Time just goes. Yeah, it's just like, whoa, okay.
Mate, I'm so much looking forward to the gym. I mean, once again, I can get in a good training session from at home, but it's simply not the same. I don't have a training partner, and I don't have a great gym facility where I'm going to and then meet up with other people, or have a, I don't know, gym partner once again, and then you excite each other when it comes to like training, right? I'm just doing it on my own. So it's not very much exciting, but still, there's something about that typical routine in the morning. Have my coffee, have my whey shake, and then I'm driving to the gym, and then I get my training session done. Right now, I'm getting up in the morning, and this is also the same thing why many people are recommending not having your working space in your sleeping room or in your bedroom, because it just...
You associate.
Hey, Pascal here. I just quickly wanted to remind you of our online coaching service. At Revive Stronger, we put a huge emphasis on the personal aspect of our coaching. And if you want to take your physique and knowledge to the next level, hit the link in the description below.
I have no idea what we've talked about. My audio interface just like died on me. Yeah.
I can't remember either.
That's absolutely right. But so... Yeah. Well, what is going on your end?
The only interesting, I can't think of anything interesting. Very small tweaks to my training. Training sessions are incredibly short because I'm doing the primer phase. And it's always nice. I don't know if this is the same for you, Pascal, but whenever I do a primer phase, I revisit why you do a primer phase. And then I start thinking more about that. And it's always nice because it just refreshes you and it reconfirms things. And none of us ever really want to do it because it's maintenance. But like revisiting the ebook and reading through it, I'm like, oh yeah, like there is really good rationale behind this. And then I even went further and I was like, I'm going to read some of these studies again. And I was like, actually, that's really cool. And I like re-listened to the Cody Horn podcast. I was like, yeah, cool. Like just get through this. It will go quick, like you said. So yeah, just doing that and just letting the only other change is nutrition, just my carbs and fat just go out the window, basically. I just hit protein, calories, don't worry too much. However, I find it really hard to change my habits to what I had previously. So my fats have come up though, but just not as much as maybe some people might end up having them because I'm just a carbohydrate whore, basically, and I could just stick to the same routine. What I did notice though, the only interesting thing is that my body weight has come up. So I think, and sometimes, like when you finish a cut, sometimes you see that weight, like some people, they eat more and their weight loss continues a bit. And I kind of had that. And so this time, like I've stopped the mass, or not mass, it was like a maintenance mass. And my weight's trickled up now. So I think it's slowly caught up with me, like the weight gain that I should have had. So I'm like more so on an average of 181 pounds. So it's like 1 pound that I've come up this week. So I don't think my actual maintenance was like 3,005 to 3,006. I think that was a slight surplus for me. So I'm sitting more like, and I found myself not needing to eat that high. So I've been eating like 3,400 calories, which is still decent considering like I'm 180 pounds and not moving around like a crazy person. So yeah, it was just interesting. It was uncomfortable, I'll be honest, when I saw the scale coming back up, but I was like, it does make sense. And in reality, I did want to push a little bit of a surplus in that last phase, but I can also tell physically I've got a little bit less sharp. But I think a lot of that is just typical. When you eat more food, you just soften up a little bit just because you hold on to more water.
Yeah,
and things.
same
But
here. I mean,
can feel it.
I know that I'm not in a surplus yet. I know that from the caloric intake that I have, but at the same time, I'm just feeling, softer. It's just what it is. It's softer, and I'm stepping on the scale, and it's showing something that I didn't anticipate that it's going up there. Especially also considering with my maintenance phases I had in the midst of the dieting phases, that my weight didn't spike up. It actually stayed the same, and this time it actually spiked up by up to 2 kilograms, which didn't happen over the past 2 maintenance phases I had with diet breaks. So it was a little bit a mind fuck, and we've been both talking about that your weight spiked up or came up a little bit, my weight came up a little bit, but I just know that I'm not in a surplus. But yeah, it makes everything look a little bit softer, which is a little bit disheartening then, right? Especially if you had that goal of stepping on stage and in your head, you already anticipated of getting leaner and leaner and leaner. Now you need to switch or turn it around immediately and go again the other way. Instead of focusing too much on your physique, focusing more so on the performance, it's very hard to actually reverse. Like, you are sitting in the car, you are full speed on a highway, right? And then you step on the brakes, immediately put in the reverse gear and try to go the other way. That is what it feels like. It takes a while before the car is actually stopping, and then you can go the other way because just physics, right? But it's kind of the same when it comes to changing pace in regards to the diet. Don't expect that you come to a halt immediately. You make that decision. No, it will probably take a while up until the point where the car is actually stopping, and then you're able to go the other way due to the forces that are pulling you in that one direction.
Yeah, and I guess actually that puts good kind of credence to the, like, you could almost call a primer phase a little bit like a pivot block or something, where it's like you push one direction, you hold, then you stabilize, push the other direction. Because like you said, going from one direction to the other direction, there's bound to be something that just doesn't quite go that nicely, which is why, like, mini cuts, you set yourself up for a rebound. Typically, you don't want a rebound. So yeah, it's actually very, very interesting. But yeah, for me, that's the only thing that's really happened. And yeah, it's going to be like this for the next few weeks. And I'm just like, as like a first world problem, and me being very focused on me, hoping that by the time this is over, the gyms will have reopened and life will be a bit more normal again. And that would be the ideal. But
I was really hoping that I can take a deload now this week, or the next week rather, and then go back into the gym, but it's probably not going to happen.
I think Germany, from what I've seen, Germany will be ahead of a lot of Europe.
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, yesterday, Chancellor Merkel had held a speech in regards to the current situation and the decisions that they've made. And in 2 weeks' time from now on, they will come together once again, reevaluate the situation, and come up with further steps moving forward. And yeah, it is what it is.
Have you had your peak? Do you know? Have they said that you've peaked and now you're flat?
I mean, the first and foremost, what's very good. Can you say that, Abby?
Yeah.
Is that our medical system was not overrun, which is the best, right? Because many countries needed to deal with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That was never the case in Germany. And I don't know how it is with the numbers at the moment. I think right now, because the goal was that it's, what's the value again? That it is P under 1 or what it was. So basically every doubling of the infection rate first every 10 days or so.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the goal, I think it was. I could be wrong. Sorry for that, to maybe butcher the data. But at the same time, I was just like so skeptical about the data from the beginning, because it's just it is a little bit flawed, and so many statisticians have criticized that, because in the beginning, probably the first case was in the beginning in Germany, beginning of March or end of February or so. But you can't tell me that this was the first actual infectious person in Germany, because the first case in Wuhan was in November. And if you really think about it, how easily something like that spreads across the world, you can't tell me that it took it like 3 to 4 months to come to Germany. Absolutely not feasible. It was just the first detected one. And that being said, first and foremost, I think that there are so many people untested because the symptoms were never severe.
Yeah.
Also, because right now it was like, okay, the more fear-mongering there was, the more people actually wanted to get tested. Because of that, you will also detect more people that have that disease, right? And also, on top of it all, there have been more testing kits coming out as well and being available as well. So the more you test, it's automatically going to increase in the number size. And that is something that, I mean, that's why the data is kind of flawed and doesn't tell you much. And actually, you shouldn't really look at that data. The only data that you should look at is the severe cases in the hospital. That is the only thing that you actually should take for granted, or not for granted, but also look at, because the other data doesn't tell you much. It just tells you like, okay, yeah, with more or with a higher increased number of testing, of course, there will be more people being found that have had the disease. And funny enough, so my mom-in-law, she had the coronavirus, which is crazy. She got tested positive for antibodies, long-term antibodies. So the likelihood that she had it is just like, it's there, right? She had it, that's for sure. She's a doctor herself, and she even called the lab who did the testing and said like, okay, is that really happening? Because I didn't feel anything at all. And she was one of the risk categories. That's why we needed to actually take care of her, because she has a pre-medical condition in regards to her lungs, and she's 60 years old. She's still, though, super fresh. She's not a smoker, nothing at all like this. But at the same time, she was detected that, well, it was estimated that she had the virus 6 to 8 weeks ago. That means that must have been in the beginning of March, end of February, when the first case in Germany was detected. And that is when she had it. That already shows you that so many more people had it probably during that time already. For us, it's a very good news that she had it already, because we were just concerned that she will get it, and we tried everything possibly in our mind to just stay away from her, right? And that she had it, we never really saw as an option, and it's such a relief that she had it and nothing severe came out of that. And now she can actually meet up with us again, see Hugo again, and it was so heartwarming, mate, yesterday when she actually got the news. We actually drove to her and she could finally take Hugo in the arms again. And Hugo, he's a 3-year-old kid, right? You try to explain to him, but he can't really fully grasp what a disease like that means. And he just fell into the arms of his grandma. And he didn't want to leave her side anymore. It was just like super, super sweet.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, it's just the whole... the fact that people can have had it and be asymptomatic is just crazy. It's just weird to think. And yeah, we just have to wait and see as more tests come out, more tests come available, and see. And like you even mentioned, it's a kind of scary thought to think that things may open and close again. I'm like, fuck no. Once we reopen, and I don't know how easy that will be once we reopen things, whether people will allow that. And I think, at least here in the UK, they haven't been very open about how long this all could last and what the exit strategy is or anything like that. And they're saying, oh, we're just listening to the scientists. But it's because if they give us, like, I don't know, if they try and say it's going to be 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it's just going to scare the shit out of people. So they're kind of leaving us all in limbo, hoping that no one, like everyone's just like, oh yeah, it's okay. But imagine, once we've gone through this, no one's going to want to go back inside again.
I have so many thoughts about that. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because it would just like take up the entire episode. Also, when it comes to like, once again, the economic outcomes and what is going on right now, also in China with digital currencies, what they want to bring on the market. It will come. That is not up for debate. It will come. The countries were always planning to do so, to bring it out, but they never had like the chance to do so. And it is absolutely scary to think about a central currency from a country, because they have control over. They know everything then about you. If a central or like a digital currency comes on the market that is centralized from the government, they will know everything. Yes, it will be super convenient, right? But you have to be absolutely shit scared about that, because they know when you will have that coffee, with who you had the coffee with, what size of a coffee that was, right? And that is just the coffee. They will know everything, and they could actually shut down an individual when they want to. And that is too much power for a government, way too much power for a government. If a digital currency comes, and that will come, but without privacy and all that kind of stuff, and that is it really scares me. It really freaking scares me, and that's why I'm also a huge proponent of something like Bitcoin, because that is a decentralized currency, and no one has control about that. You are your own bank, right? And no one has control over you and your finances. And it's just freaking scared to know that they want to actually push it through. And this is the perfect time to do so. And you can see it in China, that they are pushing it right now, because they are then having full control over you. And you just have to imagine that. I mean, that is one of the scariest parts of it all. What is going on in the world when it comes to these kind of things at the moment?
It is like a whole different matrix.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
above us. We're in the matrix, right? It kind of feels like that.
This is changing the entire world and everything in the future. And if people aren't cautious enough, right, then we will be enslaved. And this is not a conspiracy theorist now speaking, and I know it sounds very much tinfoil hat-like, but this is what basically then happens. If the government has insight into your financial activities, which it already has to some extent, but not to the extent of like a centralized digital currency, right? If they had it like this, holy shit, that would be so scary, because that would go down the totalitarian road, and they would have control and insight over everything that you're doing, basically everything that you're doing, right? And the only thing that is good about fiat currency cash, having that on hand, is that you can still do whatever it is that you want to do with that cash. But anyway, once again, going down that rabbit hole, I don't want to open that can of worms, because it's just like going down a complete different road. But I just wanted to bring that up because I think that many people aren't aware of what is going on behind the scenes at the moment, especially when it comes to these kind of decisions at the moment. And once this comes out, I just want everyone to be aware of, like, this is freaking scared if it comes, right? And I was already talking about an upcoming recession before it happened, and I'm not saying like I'm able to see or predict the future, no, but just indicators that were in front of us. I was aware of them because I'm looking into that because yeah.
I think it would just be a case of I'd end up interviewing you about this because my knowledge on it is incredibly limited. It just makes me think of, like, we had the euro and it was like, oh, are we going to get rid of the pound? They can't like use the euro here. And it's like, well, no, we can't use euros here. And then there's, like you said, there could be just one euro for the world. That would be like, I think a lot of people would just be like, yeah, that's really cool. Like, I don't have to worry about changing currency or anything. But I think the people in control of that are then in control of, like, the entire world, because we all, like we say, we work, we earn money. Like, money doesn't drive us, but we need it to live. Otherwise we live on the streets. We have nothing unless we become a tribe and live in the forest. Which could happen.
Yeah, and that is the scariest thing about it. You will probably be forced to do so, right? And that is why I'm a huge believer in something like Bitcoin, because that is a decentralized thing. A decentralized thing means no one else is sitting behind that and actually tells you what is acceptable and what's not, right? No government can shut it down. No government can control that. And no one ever should have power over these things other than yourself, because otherwise you will enslave yourself. And that is freaking scary. Freaking scary. And I don't think that everyone is grasping the severity of that.
Guess even to the point of, like, the government have said stay indoors, and now we're all having to stay indoors. And if we don't, we will get fined, and eventually if you keep pushing it, you will go to prison. Like, they're already in control massively of, like, we can't travel anywhere, we can't do fuck all. It's actually mad. So if that was taken further, I can see that it's kind of scary. When you don't think about it, it's like, oh, yeah, this is just what we're doing. But when you think about it, you're like, holy crap, I can't go outside and do something that I want to do. Like, that's crazy.
It is absolutely.
Should we get to some questions though? Because we didn't cover many last time.
Yeah.
So let me see. We only answered Andrew's question, I think, and then we went on a whole side tangent. But I think we do. Okay, there's no other supporter questions. Cool. So we have... Oh, no, wait. I'm on the... Okay. My Facebook updated itself so that I'm on the questions that you asked for this week. And I wanted the questions from last week. So let's see. I'll scroll down quickly to find those. I apologize. Because I'm pretty sure Harry's client asked a question. So I wanted to make sure we could get to that one. Here we go. So Michael Kutsasukas, I probably pronounced that terribly. He asked, how do you approach muscle imbalances in the folks you train? For example, significantly larger muscle base in the right back /lat versus the left, Also, who would win a headbutting competition? Steve, Ryan, Jess, Harry, or Pascal? Headbutting.
Yeah, I've never seen a Ryan's head in real life, so it could be that it's enormous. I have no idea.
He is a smart guy, so maybe it is huge.
But I would even say like Steve, because he was hit by a van and he didn't die, so there must be something to it, right?
I do. When I was a kid, this is really strange. When I was a kid, I grew up a very frustrated child. I think it had partly to do with like I felt like I wasn't as intelligent as I should be, and I couldn't grasp things as quick as I should. And when that happened, I'd get really frustrated, and I'd hit my head against a wall. I would like smack my head against a wall. Yeah, when I just got frustrated, or if I got angry, I'd get mad with myself a lot of the time. So it sounds really strange to say this, but it took me a long time to grow out of this. I used to punch myself in the legs really hard when I was frustrated with myself. Like if I've just been an idiot, basically, like when I smashed my iPhone, like I would just previously, like I'd hit myself in the face. I'd like smack my legs just because I was so angry with myself. So if I couldn't learn something or like I'd forgotten something like education wise, when I was at school, I was, a very frustrated child. So maybe I got some adaptive resistance to head bashing.
It could be.
And lost a lot of brain cells. It's fucking, how dumb do you have to be? I'm hitting my head against the wall because I'm so dumb. And I make myself dumber, killing brain cells. Fucking great move.
That's true.
Twat.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, so muscle imbalances. Go for it.
I think that we've talked about it a couple of times already in the past. So what I like doing is when you do unilateral work, or this is where unilateral work comes very handy into play here, is to start off with the weaker side, because then it's kind of taking care of itself when you then match the stronger side with the reps that you were able to accomplish with the weaker side. Right, and then over time, like because you are working a little bit subpar for the stronger side and you are basically very much challenging the weaker side, it will balance itself out over time. Also, just like when it comes to muscular imbalances, many athletes are like, okay, should we specialize or should we focus on a specific body part? And as long as it's not really just like a wish to do so, where it's like, I just want bigger arms. There's no particular reason for that. I just want bigger arms. As long as it's not something like that, I would always say like, just train. Because you can really start caring about these kind of things if you have invested 10, 15, 20 years. And I don't think that anyone who actually has trained for that long will then say like, okay, this muscle group is just like absolutely lagging behind. Right, I mean, in comparison to the rest, maybe there is like, okay, I need to work a little bit on my chest. I need to work a little bit on my back. But no one is like, okay, like the meme when someone is skipping leg day. Right, this will never happen if you are training properly for 10 to 15 to 20 years. And I think that most people who are complaining about these things should just start training for the next and putting in the work and effort for the next couple of years. And then we can still talk about maybe putting things onto an emphasis block or so.
Hi guys, Steve here. Just wanted to take a moment of your time to remind you of the Revive Stronger member site. Inside you'll find a thriving forum, a growing exercise library, presentations, research reviews, and courses. If you want to get involved, sign up via the description.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say in addition to that is, wow, my mind's gone completely blank. But I think some small imbalances are normal. So like I know my left calf is bigger than my right, but you'd never really be able to tell. I think my left lat is actually bigger than my right. And I've never really noticed in photos. Sometimes someone said to me like, oh, that one looks, and I was like, it's the angle. But it only really became truly obvious to me when Andrew Chappelle was like, you said you injured your shoulder. Was it this side or this side? Like, was it your left side or your right side? He said. I was like, no, it's my left. He was like, oh, your left side's bigger. So I don't know if something's compensating because it's injured. But it's nothing. He was like, it's nothing you'd ever like score lowly on a bodybuilding show. So I think a lot of people overestimate their kind of the differences, and some are very normal. And the only thing I'd say in addition to starting with the stronger side and then letting the other side kind of stay behind basically is you could take one side through MEV to MRV and keep the other side just at MEV or at MV if you wanted to, if it was like a big imbalance or you wanted to correct it very quickly. But I prefer to be able to grow both and just let one side grow a little bit quicker generally. So yeah, I basically the same. Next question. So this one, I'm going to go for Darko Stankovic. And he has asked, do you think bread and butter movements, best SFR for individual, easiest mind muscle connection, biomechanical reasons, should ever be removed from some mesocycles, or just keep them in every mesocycle but switch the order or intensity or rep range for those movements?
I think if you would have asked me like 2 years ago, I would have said like keep the bread and butter exercises in, which I would have counted squats, bench, deadlifts, all these kind of things for. Right now, my stance has completely changed. An exercise is only a means to an end. Whatever exercise gives you the best bang for your buck, and is best in that giving situation for your needs, go ahead and do so, right? So basically do a needs analysis, figure out what it is that you need, then find an exercise that suits those needs and gives you the best stimulus in return in comparison to the fatigue that is then accumulating from that exercise. And then you should figure that one out. And then after a while, when things are getting a little bit stale or you just want to change things, go ahead and do so. I don't think that there is anything super special about an exercise. I mean, we've talked about it, I think 6-7 episodes ago, where I was just like saying, okay, I don't think that there's a huge difference between hack squats and squats for squat development. Like truly just thinking about it, basically it mimics the same movement pattern, right? You go all the way down to the floor, but at the same time, it takes away that actual loading. So it could even be that a hack squat may be better, maybe a better hypertrophy exercise. I think that many people are just a bit too dogmatic when it comes to free weight exercises because this has been around for such a long time. But yeah, once again, I don't think that there is truly something like a bread and butter exercise. Bread and butter exercise would be something like that suits your needs and suits your body composition, what works for you the best, what gives you the best return with the least amount of fatigue accumulated.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd say in addition to that, and I completely agree that I was at times where I was like scared to remove high bar, like squats particularly. I just never wanted to remove squats. Deadlifts for ages, I was deadlifting all the time, and I haven't deadlifted off the floor for ages. I rotated it in once, like in the last 3 years, and I was like, that was fun, but it fucked me up completely. But what I would say is, the only thing I'd say is, in addition to this, I think there are probably, everyone has like a handful of movements for each muscle group that are the best. I don't think you have one best exercise that you always do for your complete lifetime of lifting. I don't think that possibly is a thing. And then you rotate through them as staleness does come in. Every single thing within biology, there is an element of adaptive resistance that just occurs. You get a cut, it scabs over, the skin toughens. If you keep cutting that area, it's going to get thicker and thicker. And like calluses, for example, you break a bone, it grows back a little bit stronger every time. Like just this, the body adapts and resists adaptation over time. So if you use the same movement all the time, I think there is just inevitably that staleness that comes in, and no longer is it the best movement for you. The SFR probably gets worse. I don't know if you've ever had this, Pascal, but I've certainly had it with like squats, for example. If I just squat, and I've done them for like years on end, I just start doing them and I'm like, I don't actually feel this in my quads anymore. I'm just doing it, and it's just like beating me up. And I rotate it out, put hack squat in, and I'm like, I've never felt my quads like this before. Yeah. But then after a while, hacks also just don't quite feel that great. Put in a leg press. Wow, now leg press is the go-to movement. So yeah, just be open to the idea of rotating exercises out, even if you check. And some exercises aren't open to a certain rep range or intensity. Like you wouldn't squat for over 15 reps, really, like a barbell squat. If you're over 15 reps, that's just madness. So yeah, I think eventually you will find that just rotating it out is the best thing for you to do. Let it cool off a little bit and then maybe rotate it back in at some point.
Yeah.
Sweet. Next episode, next question is from Brandon James O'Donnell, and he has asked, what are some tools / strategies you guys use on your own programming, because we both coach ourselves, that you wouldn't necessarily use on clients? Very interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a couple of revelations for myself where it's just like, mate, I would never do something like that to any one of my athletes. But I all of a sudden, I think it's a great idea doing it for myself. I don't know why. And it's so irrational, figuring out certain things. But also this makes you a better coach in return, I think, because you don't, or you would never do it with any one of your athletes, because it's kind of irresponsible maybe, or you are afraid that this would lead to worse results, right? Or would crush them, because, I mean, Steve and I, it may not come across like this every once in a while. And also we are always talking about balancing and not doing everything we possibly can, or not doing everything just for the sake of bodybuilding. But at the same time, we are loving training, and we like just to train a lot, right? And it just goes to show that Steve has been doing like 2 times a day training since like 4 years or so. And that speaks for itself. And because of that, you can't expect that any one of your clients will love bodybuilding as much as you do, and will be willing to invest as much time and effort as you do, and also has just the time available to do that much, right? It's so funny because I wanted to do a video on that one, and I will do one video for the membership side on that one specifically. We have one question over on our training application sheet. And one answer is just like, so the question is, okay, what describes you best? And one answer is, I would do everything. Let me just bring it up so that I'm not butchering that. It says, there's nothing I won't do to achieve my goals. So this is kind of a test.
You have to think about that one deeply, don't you?
Exactly. Do you really? So there's nothing I won't do to achieve my goals. Is that really true? Do you really? And I think that everyone who's plugging that in, I'm starting to get immediately skeptical about that statement, because I have yet to find and to meet someone who's truly doing that. Except for someone like Steve, for example. He's dedicated his entire life to do something like that, right? Or like an IFBB pro. But the people that are most often applying for our services, where it's like, do you really, or is that something that you are just saying to please me? Or is it just something that you think you have to say for yourself and for the time you have already put into the entire thing, so that you're not lying to yourself, or to keep that illusion going? I'm sorry to put it that way, but there's nothing I won't do to achieve my goals. Holy shit. That is like taking the next step, because I'm not even certain whether I would do that. And this is just like me being absolutely objective and absolutely honest, because nothing, that would also mean like, if someone were to come to me and say like, okay, you could train in the bodybuilding gym in Kuwait. You could take all the drugs. I'm sponsoring you. I'm sponsoring the trip. You could train with the big guys, and we will try our very best to make you an IFBB pro. Would we be willing to do so? No, not really, because my family is here. That's more important to me. And the thought alone to do something like that is not that pleasing to me. I would rather be the way I am right now, or drop training all along instead of leaving my family behind me, right? So you always need to take that into consideration. And I find it very, very funny that people are then bringing that one up. And still, to go back to the question then, there are a lot of things that I've done with myself I would have never done with my clients, but at the same time, it also allows me to draw some experiences from things that I've experienced in the past, such as like binging attacks or so, right? Would I ever have made the conscious decision of going down that road? No, it was just like, it happened, right? But it made me a better coach. and I dealt with it on my own or together with Steve at least. And now I'm better at dealing with that and also giving some recommendations or suggestions, or same as just pushing yourself freaking hard, going to the gym like twice daily just to have done it, just to tell people, okay, when they are asking like, okay, should I do twice daily training? And you just objectively analyze their situation and their lifestyle, you'd be like, I don't think that it's for you. And also, I don't think that you need it, to be honest, right? This comes then from personal anecdote. And I think that this is so valuable. This is so valuable to have had certain experiences that just like go beyond the textbook or so. And this is also what you're seeing with so many successful people in the world, no matter whether it's training, nutrition or so, where just anecdotal experience comes into play, or just experience in general comes into play, whether then, because that is the real life. It's not really like textbook, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's tricky. I completely understand what you're saying. And I think something I probably do differently to my clients is I can be objective over their training, their situation, their nutrition. However, I struggle to be objective, or I can't be objective about my own. So sometimes my emotions drive decisions. I think the principles, everything I do with myself and my clients align very, very well. And I like to be an example for my clients in that regard. But sometimes I might, I don't know, restrict myself a little bit more than necessary. So even if that's, I don't know, a social occasion, I might to a client and be like, yeah, just go and enjoy it. Like, it's not a big deal. We can deal with this. Like, I might, and that's what I hope I should be able to do to myself. But because I'm subjective in some ways, I may be stricter than I should be. I maybe push myself to do a little bit more than I should do. I maybe overdose basically and underdose sometimes. But in terms of like, I don't know, do like BFR 24/7 or like train to failure all the time. I don't know. There's nothing major that I do. It's just like little things that maybe if someone was coaching me or if I was coaching myself objectively, I'd be like, nah, don't do that.
No, absolutely. These are some great points, and basically also applying to myself, where it's like, I know, like saying, okay, don't beat yourself up for this, and you should actually go out there and enjoy the time together with your family and friends. I don't know, on Christmas occasions, don't stress about going out there with your colleagues or so, but it's the same in return for me as well, because I would probably so if you were to turn it around, I would probably be in that same position, and they could then give me that advice of like, okay, Pascal, don't stress out, right? Because of that objectivity that a coach can take in. Whereas you as an athlete, you will always be emotionally invested, and that applies to us, while it's the same when it comes to the clients. That's why most of the time they need a coach, because they are emotionally invested. And then having someone at the side who's the objective and rational part, and they are the emotional part, that is kind of a symbiotic relationship, right? Both are needed to actually get the best results, and together you work as a team and you can achieve great things together.
Yeah, I think the only thing because I have some clients that want to invest everything into this, I just make sure that they are truly wanting to do that, because sometimes they think they do, but they don't really understand what that means. So if they truly do, and they've almost actually convinced me that they're of that, and I think actually that this is complementing their life, then I will take them as far as they need to, because I do some minutia things that a lot of my clients don't need to do, but some of them do want to do that. So I would never hold back a client from doing everything for their goal. But we're just off the side of, a lot of people don't have any reason to be doing it.
I would never hold them back. But
no, I'm not saying you are.
No, but I would at the same time also remind them of the potential other outcomes and other options that they have and may not be seeing, because the emotion, so the self-investment into the entire thing makes people just sometimes blind. sometimes for a negativity aspect, so that they are stressing out about something, or sometimes to being too dedicated, if there's even something like that. I don't know. I'm not entirely certain whether I can wholeheartedly say that there's something like too much dedication, right? Because it's just like, once again, also my subjective opinion. But at the same time, it's just like sometimes you don't have to do the same mistakes that we've been doing, right? Restricting ourselves massively, trying to just walk on a lonely path and get the most out of everything. Where now we've learned from our experiences, and we know that that some things may not be worth it, or may not lead to the outcome that someone is looking for, or someone is anticipating that is happening, right? Where then you can remind them of like, okay, you think that this is going to happen, but what's more likely going to happen is X, Y, Z. So let's try a different road, because I've already made those experiences, and maybe this can help you in actually making better decisions and making better progress moving forward. Yes, it's important to you, but at what cost, right? And is it really the cost that we need to take to actually get there? Such as the best example is Ronnie Coleman. Did he really need to train that way, right? So many people are bringing up the question over the past couple of years, especially when the documentary about him came out. And Jay Cutler even said, like, was it necessary that he always trained that way and destroyed himself to get those titles? Or would he have gotten those titles independent of the way he basically pushed himself? Could he have left 1 or 2 reps in the tank and not destroy himself completely and still make it to one of the greatest, if not the greatest bodybuilder of all time? So yeah, sometimes you also need to remind them about holding, I don't want to say hold themselves back, but remind them that the cost the price they have to pay.
I was going to say, I think what you're looking for, or at least what I'm getting from you, and it's something I say to clients all the time, and I say one of the biggest benefits of a coach is we end up saving our clients from themselves. And I think sometimes we don't save ourselves from ourselves because we aren't that objective. But yeah, there's a lot of, I have many clients who are so invested to the point of which is actually a detriment to them. They're too invested into it, so they can't be objective, and they do things that are just downright stupid. And then I tell them, and they're like, fuck, you're so right. I'm so glad that I've got someone who can actually kind of control this horse that is just all this energy to get to a goal. So do we have time for one more question?
No, I have to go in just a couple of seconds. So sorry, guys. Sorry.
So we'll leave it there. Thank you guys as always for your questions. Hope you're all well. Stay strong, stay safe. This is what I've been leaving like every video with recently. I don't know why. It's become like a little thing. And take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
So I'm Steve Hall, founder of Revive Stronger and a coach of Revive Stronger.
My name is Pascal Flor. I'm the co-owner of Revive Stronger and also a coach, of course.
Your Revive Stronger has probably been going solidly for 3 years, roughly about 3 years.
Revive Stronger, to me, it is becoming kind of my child, my foster child. It's the gathering and getting together of like-minded people.
We've been expanding the coaching team, which is helping us help more people, but each coach can only help a certain number of people.
Right now, it's all over the place. We have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, but there isn't that community aspect behind that.
And so the next step for us is developing a membership site.
So basically, we want to create a family and a community that is then benefiting from another.
A really cool community for people within our little niche is going to be a website.
They will get early access to our podcast.
You can access us, ask us questions.
The community aspect, we have a forum there. You can ask questions, but also you can log your journey.
There's also going to be courses on there.
Courses, presentations on different topics. Discount of past seminar footage. We will log our journey as well. We'll start vlogging.
We're going to have documentaries.
Our entire athletic journey. Furthermore, they get access to an exercise video library.
the exercises that we love for hypertrophy and maximizing hypertrophy. We're going to go through those in depth, telling you how to execute them.
We kept them concise and also mobile friendly so that you can watch them in between your sets.
I'm super excited to grow this community. The amount of value that we're going to be delivering is huge. And I'd love you to be part of it.
You will get so much out of that.
I'll see you inside.